Hello and a very warm welcome to the Late Breaking F1 podcast presented by Harry Eade, Sam Sage and me, Ben Hocking. We're back to previews and we're previewing the second ever Las Vegas Grand Prix, Sam. And we are happy to say we are in the UK.
Viva the UK.
Viva the Maidenhead. I don't see it sticking.
You've just doxed me.
My bad.
There's only 8 people in this town. Good. Yes, it's Las Vegas time. We're back. Night time. What time have we got to get up this week? 5 o'clock?
Oh.
6 a.m. start for both.
It's so tough being us.
It's really difficult over here. Do you know what? There's no daylight here anyway, so I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
True, at least we're not wasting daylight hours because it will still be dark. Precious.
That's a real positive spin. At least we're not wasted daylight hours.
Woo!
Gotta be glass half full, Ben.
I was going to say, you got to look on the bright side. In the UK, there is no.
We've got a lot to talk about on this episode. We're playing F1 Alphabetti later on.
Bloody hell.
For a while, have we?
I thought that was banned. I thought we weren't allowed to play that because no one liked it.
No, there's like 2 people that do.
So. Why? Is it me and Sam?
No. I don't think you've ever declared your love for F1 Alphabetti, but we are, of course, talking, though, the Las Vegas Grand Prix coming up this weekend. And we'll start with the question of, are McLaren the favourites? Now, we've had last 4 races. Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren have won at least one of those races. But if we look at the last triple header that took place, McLaren not able to claim a win at any of them and only 1 podium of the 6 attempts between the 2 drivers. They do still lead the Constructors' Championship, Sam, with 3 races to go. Do you think they're the favourites here?
I think what maybe edges them as the favourites was the dry performances that they're able to pull out around Sao Paulo. During the sprint qualifying, the sprint race, they seemed mighty. I know that they brought a track-specific upgrade in that rear wing in terms of Sao Paulo, and Lando Norris looked like he made absolutely full use of that when available to him. And that gives me hope that we are still going to see 3 very close constructors going somewhere like Las Vegas. And maybe the DRS will be mighty for them because obviously that is a key part of that Las Vegas racetrack with the Duracell-sponsored DRS. Supercharge your way to, I don't know,
an overtake. Yeah.
Sure, whatever the tagline's going to be. I do think these teams are going to be mighty close. What is upsetting me slightly is that Red Bull seemingly can only claim that victory now in a really tumultuous, difficult lottery almost of a Grand Prix where Max Verstappen has turned into a racing god for the day. I don't feel like that's
miserable again after Sunday.
Honestly, I haven't stopped being miserable. Still fuming. Bloody Monaco. Anyway, I think Max Verstappen is always in the mix. I think the car isn't there. I don't think the car is as strong as it has been before the likes of the Singapore Grand Prix where, previous to the summer break, they looked like they had some real form leading up to that mid-European stint. I don't think that's going to be there as much. I do think Ferrari are the ones in the driving seat. I put all my money on red. And I do think that they're actually the ones that are going to be the toughest to beat. Leclerc, Sainz, brilliant combination of a team. The car looks like it's still on form. They're not wavering, even if they're not outright winning the Grand Prix. For the most part, over the last 3 or 4 races, they have been the highest point scorers as a team, mostly because Verstappen and Norris have got tangled up together. But Piastri's been lacking in form. Perez has not been there to match those around him. Verstappen can't carry a whole team on his back forever. And Norris is not hitting the form he was in the middle of the season. So Ferrari kind of tend to be by just pure consistency alone, which is baffling to say for Ferrari. I still think the team to beat here.
Should Red Bull take any solace from the fact that they seemed a bit better in the sprint race at Brazil? Like you said, the main race itself is tough to judge because of the conditions and Verstappen's excellence as an individual was able to shine through. But the sprint race itself, even though McLaren claimed a 1-2, Verstappen was in the mix there more than he was at previous races. Do they take encouragement from that?
I mean, sure, but in my eyes, Vegas and Brazil are so different when it comes to both track dynamic, the surface of the track, the temperatures that we're going to see, both at Sao Paulo and at Vegas. Of course, it's a night race in Vegas, essentially in a desert. It will get much chillier than the heat that we saw on that Friday and Saturday period of Sao Paulo, where it was very, very warm. And Red Bull famously have always dealt well with the high altitudes of Mexico and Brazil. They have always been very successful at those two Grand Prix, even in seasons gone by where they have not been a dominant car. You look at the likes of, 17, 18, 19, where Mercedes and Ferrari were very much the two teams fighting towards the top. They will still almost find a way to win those two Grand Prix pretty regularly in those years. So I think it's more of a outlier that Red Bull seem very good at conquering rather than a tip to what could be future form for the rest of the season. I still think it's going to be a struggle for them coming to Vegas.
Harry, who do you think are going to be the favourites? Is it McLaren?
I think it will be McLaren. Ferrari, they built my trust up in Mexico and Austin, and then they trounced it again. They broke my heart because even without the weather in Brazil, they didn't look. I mean, they weren't terrible, but they didn't look competitive as competitive as they were. I know we were here last year, but Vegas still feels like quite a big unknown in terms of the form book. We came here last year and Red Bull were the dominant team, but they still had to fight quite hard for that win. Leclerc was involved in that fight for quite a while. It was a 3-car fight for the win, wasn't it? So even if you've got a dominant car here, I would suggest, as part of the season, I would suggest that it's not necessarily going to be dominant here, which I think will be a good thing. I think this could be quite exciting. It might be a bit of a lottery again, which, we all want. So even if your car isn't as competitive, and I'm looking towards Red Bull here, as competitive as they want it to be, they might still well be in with a chance, especially with things like, we're expecting low temperatures again. I know it became less of an issue last year than I think we thought, apart from turn 1. But, low temperatures, it's a street circuit, etc. So, yeah, I suspect McLaren will look like the favourites, but by the time we get to the race, I still think it could be any of those top teams, and I know we'll get onto it, but I wouldn't rule out Mercedes either, just because this is not a traditional circuit or racing conditions. So that in itself is quite an exciting prospect, I think. So I know last year I was bored of it. Do you feel that there's been like zero hype around Vegas this year, whereas last year there was 1,000% hype? Yeah. I don't know. I get it because it's the second one now, but I thought it was going to at least have a bit more. They've gone from like 1,000,000% to zero.
All I've seen is on Instagram, they made each driver a playing card.
Great.
Like, brilliant. Sensational marketing.
I'm not complaining about it because I was exhausted by it last year. But
you're not allowed to be annoyed.
No, I'm not at all because I was sick of it. But I just found it really strange. I just thought felt like absolutely nothing about it. If Norris and Verstappen were still in a proper fight, maybe it would have been different. Maybe that's what they were banking on. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, complete side point.
There was a post from F1 Social trying to push the Drivers' Championship battle between Norris and Verstappen, which it's a good effort, F1, but I think that's
already dead.
At least you tried.
Yes, at least you tried. Interestingly enough, McLaren really struggled at Las Vegas last year, and typically I don't look at what a team did the previous year as a good barometer of what their success will be this year. But as you mentioned, Harry, Vegas is still somewhat of an unknown. I know that so much changes in 12 months in terms of the characteristics of your car and also your performance compared to the other teams. But Vegas does still appear to be something of an anomaly. So the fact that they scored 2 points in the end, thanks to Oscar Piastri recovering from 18th to 10th. They were both knocked out in Q1. Lando Norris's race lasted a grand total of 3 laps, I believe, because of an incident. But even, I know Piastri recovers 8 positions based on where he qualified. Bear in mind, the previous race last year, Lando Norris went from 17th to 5th at Mexico. So that car was, at that point, capable of these comebacks if it was necessary. Whereas Red Bull, I know Leclerc got Perez on the final lap and it ended up 1st and 3rd for Red Bull. But that was their only double podium in the last 8 races of last season. And indeed, Leclerc was in the fight for the win and he did claim pole position. So both Red Bull and Ferrari were far stronger than McLaren were at this circuit 12 months ago. I tend to think we are in for a close battle. Again, comparisons with other circuits are tough. I think if I'm looking at one circuit as a good comparison for Vegas, I think it's probably Baku. just based on both street circuits, both rely on top speed, quite a lot of low-speed corners to contend with. And there it was close between all three teams, of course, because Perez was very much in that fight as well. But I'm intrigued. Nothing has seemed to follow on from race to race in this second half of the season. We had, the US, where I'd say Ferrari was strongest. Mexico, I think it was fairly close, even though Ferrari won. Lando Norris was getting close towards the end of that race. Brazil, even though the race went horribly for them, I think McLaren had the edge there. So nothing's really race to race followed on as you would expect. In fact, the last time a driver won 2 consecutive races was Max Verstappen back in the summer. It hasn't happened since then. So
how does the boy do it?
Yeah, exactly. So McLaren maybe are a little bit worried just based on their top speed isn't fantastic compared to Red Bull and Ferrari, and their low speed corners is certainly not the car's strength. Look at Singapore, Zandvoort, Hungary, these other circuits where McLaren have been really strong at. Las Vegas doesn't have the same characteristics. They could still be in the fight, very much still in the fight, but I would be surprised if McLaren were dominant here. One thing that Harry's already alluded to is colder temperatures. And at the moment, it looks like we're going to see something in the low teens Celsius. That's mid-50s Fahrenheit.
Who cares, mate? It's not real numbers. Who cares?
Who cares? Over half of our audience. So far this season, Mercedes have been typically pretty good in cold temperatures. On the other side, they've been rubbish recently. Sam, which of those two arguments wins?
Rubbish. It worked well for them in the middle part of the year where they picked up, the legitimate wins that they picked up, which was Belgium being a main one and Great Britain, of course. But I think obviously with George running Austria, that was more situational. I do think that he won that one through being kind of a distant next best thing, of course, with Norris and Verstappen colliding with each other. So I'm going to exclude that from my points here. But you look at Britain, you look at Belgium, and you look at the other one I mentioned, which is now failing to appear in my brain. And all of them, that's good, ain't it? Good on memory. All of them were actually quite cold. All of them delivered quite a colder, wetter weekend. Silverstone we saw drifted in and out of being, for the season, relatively chilly. They also coincided with how the car was strong. They brought upgrades at the time. The upgrades have worked throughout that period. They then made new upgrades, and obviously Belgium saw those upgrades come back off and then go back on in the next Grand Prix, and it wasn't the same again. I think Hungary was considered a cooler Hungarian Grand Prix. Didn't show them to be particularly successful before that. I just don't think they're close enough to make the difference because it's going to be cooler, unfortunately. The car has always struggled to run in dirty air, and it's always struggled to run in hot conditions. I don't think they've got the pace to get themselves on the front 2 rows comfortably and ensure that they can then get away from traffic that maybe surrounds them or stay in contact with your McLarens, your Ferraris. I just don't think the car's got it in it. Even if it has got an advantage in these cooler conditions, I don't think Mercedes have got what it takes to keep up for the whole Grand Prix.
What do you think, Harry?
I know I mentioned them in this earlier on in terms of being competitive, but quite frankly, I've got no idea. Because Mercedes, their form has always been unpredictable in this era of latest era of Formula One, but feels incredibly so this year because, as you pointed out, Sam, midway through the year they were winning races, and now they're crap, like really bad.
Analysis.
Ooh, crap.
Oh, yeah.
That's the second podcast in a row you've now forgotten to use that.
Crap.
But yeah, so I mentioned them in potentially being in the race for the win or for the podium because I think of what could potentially be a topsy-turvy Grand Prix, and less so because they'll be good at being fast. Because I'm just not sure they understand where that car is once again. There was a brief sunny time, which was the summer, ironically, where they did, it seemed, and now they're back to being clueless, which is great. So
it's quite bizarre. That form is crazy. When was the last time we saw a team go from being the 4th fastest team to winning 3 or 4 Grand Prix? I still can't remember. There's another one I keep forgetting. And then going back to being like the 4th fastest team by a distant margin in the space of about 6 races.
I'm doing some on-the-fly maths here, so apologies if this is ever so slightly wrong. But first 8 races of this season, no podiums.
Yeah.
Next 6, 3 wins and 6 podiums.
Yeah.
Last 7, 1 podium. And that one, by the way, that 1 podium was Russell at Baku, which was going to be a 5th place until
So no podiums. So realistically, no podiums.
On pace.
Really, on pace.
Yeah.
Where was the last time we saw a form like that?
God, yeah.
Yeah, bizarre. And so that's probably that's proves the point, really, that I just don't think pace-wise you can predict where they're going to be. I just think, you put Hamilton or Russell in sort of in the mix, and it's a topsy-turvy Grand Prix, then I think maybe they could sneak a good result from this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because there is a chance they are better here. The problem is they need to be a lot better. They don't need to be slightly better based on what we've seen in the last few Grand Prix. So I'm intrigued. Like I say, last 7 races, it's been pretty rough going for them, really, ever since that win that they had at Spa. It does look like, yeah, like you say, the two circuits to look at really are Silverstone and Spa as 2 other colder races. I know they happened both in the summer, but they were unseasonably cooler.
In Formula One terms.
Yeah, in F1 terms for sure. And it doesn't look like it's going to be overly cold this weekend in Vegas. Like I say, it's probably about 13 degrees Celsius. So that's puts it roughly in the ballpark of where we were at for Silverstone. I think that was about 15 or 16. So yeah, it'd be intriguing to see if they get in the mix. Last question before we hit our first break, Sam. Verstappen does have a chance to win the Drivers' Championship this weekend. There are a number of championship permutations surrounding whether he gets the fastest lap or Lando Norris gets the fastest lap. But by and large, if Verstappen beats Norris this weekend, he wins the title. Do you think it'll happen this weekend?
No, I don't. I think it's probably just a little bit too much of a stretch in terms of the points tally for where those cars are lining up. I think Norris might be a little bit more relaxed now, actually, that there's no technical championship hopes really going his way. He did an absolute miracle. He did 3 DNFs in a row, essentially, and 3 victories for himself to basically conquer that points gap. It's not going to happen. So I think Norris will be more relaxed. I think McLaren working as a team to take home the constructors is probably going to suit them a bit better as more of a team unit working as one. And I just don't think the car's there. I think Max will need a bit of a demolishing Grand Prix, much like Brazil, which I guess can't see happening twice in a row, to realistically take it home this time. But no bones about it. Come Qatar, I think it's game over.
Yes, I'm going with your instinct. I'm saying that it won't be this weekend and it will be in Qatar instead. F1 will probably be hoping that they crown a champion this weekend because, firstly, them crowning a champion in Las Vegas, they would really enjoy that for marketing purposes. Also, I think they might want to avoid 2 years in a row where the championship has been won by Max Verstappen in a Qatar sprint race.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
It's entirely possible that's the way it's going.
I was going to pose, I was going to say, I reckon Verstappen would, on purpose, or prefer not to win the championship in Vegas.
I'm breaking down.
Yeah, but he does. I think he hates this, all this fuss.
I don't think he does. He flat out does.
But what would he hate more, winning it in Vegas or winning it at yet another sprint race?
I think he just doesn't do the next 2 and just shows up for the main race.
Yeah. Go on, I'll give you a little
The montage of his face hating Vegas, by the way, is hilarious. He's like, it's a stupid joke. Yeah. I hate it.
Oh, God bless him.
God bless him indeed. We're going to hit our first break here. On the other side, we're going to be talking about the 2025 season launch. Welcome back, everyone. All 10 teams will join a new season launch event at London's O2 Arena next February to unveil all their liveries together. The 2025 drivers and team principals will participate in what is a first-of-its-kind event organised by Formula One management. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali said, "For the first time, we will bring together our fans, all 20 superstars of our sport, and some very special guests to officially kick off our new season and mark our 75th year of racing." Even though it's actually the 76th year of racing, but we'll move past that, Stefano. Anyway, Brian Burke, who is the event's creative director.
Yeah, he is.
No, not another name.
Brian
Burke.
When
you have something written down and you don't know how funny it's going to sound until you say it out loud.
Brian Burke.
Ben, I'm sorry, I didn't even question the F1 75 thing, but have they just forgotten?
Well, it's 75 years since the start of F1, but it's the 76th year of racing.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So it's just the way he's worded it is actually incorrect.
Yes.
Right. Get you. All right.
What did Berkey have to say? He said he called it a truly exciting live experience, combining the unveiling of the new liveries, interviews with the biggest names in F1, and cutting-edge entertainment. There hasn't been any confirmation whether any teams will debut their 2025 chassis at this event. It might just end up being a livery launch. Sam, your reaction to this news? It's been rumoured for a little while.
Yeah, also rumoured that we will be the special guests that Formula One are bringing in to interview, I'm sure. Because we couldn't get tickets the normal way.
Rumoured by us.
Rumoured by me right now. What do I think about the event? Love it. Absolutely love it. Really annoyed that we're not going, if I'm totally honest, because this is what liveries should be about. This is car unveiling. This is your new look for the new year. And livery launches used to be this weird and wonderful spectacle of marketing moments. You know, you get Katie Price sat on a tyre, or the Spice Girls walking out, or there'd be something Star Wars related would just be occurring for some bizarre reason. And it would be weird and wonderful. Do you remember the Ferrari dancers in 2020? That was odd and quite nice to see something so weird happening outside of a castle with mechanics doing ballet down ropes in a castle. It's as weird as it sounds. So if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. I love this spectacle. I love that all the teams are going to be there together. I love that we're making a big moment of it, because something I do hate about livery reveal season is they seem to arbitrarily pick dates around the middle of February, and I don't think any other team knows what any other team is doing. So sometimes you'll get we're doing the 12th, we've got in there early, and then another team will go, yeah, we're also doing the 12th, sorry. And you're like, cool, I've got 2 livery launches on the same day. Don't know what time it's going to happen. You don't find that out until you actually get to the day. You're kind of watching Twitter, is it on YouTube? And it's all badly organised. It's all really, really badly done. So I love that this is one concise event. Every team gets their moment. We have a big old show about it. Done. Know what you're getting. Finished. Just annoyed that won't actually be there in person. But yeah, really, really excited for it.
Have to confess, folks, I was pretty confident that Sam was going to be positive about this. I am much more interested to hear how Ian is also in favour of this. What do you think, sir?
It's a sensible idea for all the above reasons that Sam has outlined. I think there will be 10 2024 cars with 2025 liveries on. That's a guarantee. Why would anyone ship their new chassis? Why would they rush to ship their new chassis to London? Especially if you're Ferrari, why are you doing that? So
Alpine will probably do it.
They'll ship the 2013 Renault. I don't know.
Faster.
Exactly. But yeah, so I suspect we won't get any actual real new cars, but we'll get all the liveries. My only skepticism, and this is just a personal opinion, because as Sam said, livery launches is like the weird part of the season, and everything's a bit unique. I just hope, and from what I understand, each team gets like a 10 minute slot. So they get to do what they sort of within reason what they want to with that slot. But I just don't want it. I don't want it to lose its uniqueness, and I fear it will. I'm not saying this will become it might become a thing every year. Who knows? We still start with sprint races, and they think that's a good idea. So, yeah, I just hope we don't lose that aspect of livery season, and it'll be done in an evening, won't it? And I like it when livery launch season goes on for a few days. But I will reserve judgment until I see it. I'll probably hate it, but I'll reserve judgment until I see it.
Remember when I was the miserable one? How is future miserable?
He's not miserable. He's just predicting.
Predicting
up to be miserable.
Future misery for myself. Yeah, I just enjoy that. Sometimes you get, as you mentioned, some wacky things like the Ferrari, the dancing Ferrari men, and there's sometimes
dancing Ferrari makes a great bang.
Save that one. And then but in the same, within the same day or the next day, you get something that's completely bland and really quick. Like they just here's a photo of a car, and I love that about F1 livery season. Some teams don't bother with anything. Some teams go all out, and that varies from year to year as well. So that's kind of my point. But like I said, I'll reserve judgment. I like the idea of making this an event. It seems like that's a cool idea, and it's a good fan opportunity.
If any fans are actually invited.
Right, I've seen this rumor floating about. There's people on there saying that 175,750 tickets were for.
Okay, let's just knock a zero off that. There's only
17,000. Yeah, but either way, it was whoever started that rumor. You're an excellent rumor spreader, but that's just not true.
No wonder it's hard to get tickets. There's 177,000 influencers going.
That was it. They said that they were all influencers that were invited. No.
Yeah. I think I like the idea overall.
This is so late breaking.
If I'm weighing up pros and cons, like I think I like the idea, but I am similarly skeptical about the execution. Concept, sure. Execution, knowing F1, doing F1 things, I don't know.
I think it could be cringy as heck.
It might be. If they do it, they have the opportunity to do this really well. They have the opportunity to do this really badly as well. And I just don't know which way it's going to go. I'm kind of the same as you, Harry, about the livery season is often disjointed, is really weird. But you know what? We're weird. We like weird.
I love it.
It's I kind of enjoy the differences that we get from the teams to show off their car. On the other side of the ledger, you've got, as you mentioned, it's going to be a 2-hour event. Each team is not going to get a lot of time to showcase their car. And I would be lying if I was to say I'm not excited about the fact that some of these end up being really bloated, like these livery reveals, and you're waiting there for like 30 minutes waiting for all these sponsors and important bigwigs at companies to say what they need to say about the exciting season ahead and what we've got planned until we actually get to see the car itself. No time for that here. You're just going to have to get on with it and show what your livery is going to be all about, which I am quite excited about. And I know there is some disappointment at the fact that there's, it as you say, it's going to be 10 2024 cars with 2025 liveries. I'm not as disappointed about that as some are. I know there are plenty of people, and I completely understand it. There are plenty of people out there that really want to see what these teams are going to be bringing in terms of their designs for the new year. The average fan probably isn't going to be overly.
I'm not the average fan, and I could not give the slightest toss about them bringing a 2025 car to that stage. I'll see it in testing. This is about how it looks.
Do you have any concerns, Sam, about it, the event as a whole?
Yes, I do. Quite a few, actually. I do think we will lose the charm. There's definitely a way of losing that charm of livery season, as you both rightly pointed out. I know it was a rumor, and we like to laugh and joke about rumors. I do think there is a chance that there are not only 1,000 tickets available for fans, but I am a little nervous that there might be a lot of people who have been invited to the event that maybe are not your everyday F1 fan that wanted to really go and see a fan experience and get to be a part of that, because F1 has got a bit of a history of giving things to people who don't really care about Formula One, but have a platform. That's fact. It's happened before. That worries me. I also am quite nervous that it could end up being really boring and rubbish, and them just trying to churn it out as fast as possible and almost damaging the excitement and the hype that this could bring about, because they're like, 10 minutes, quick, turn it around, get everything out as fast as possible. So there's a lot that could go wrong. It could be really cringy, as you've mentioned. Equally, we might get 10 liveries that are bloody awesome because they've gone, oh, we're unveiling it live. It's the 75th anniversary, whatever. We need to look really, really cool for it. Let's go above and beyond. Let's do something different. It's Formula One. I doubt it will happen, but there's a chance, and I'm choosing to believe. So, yeah, there's a lot could go wrong.
One potential concern I wanted to throw in there, Harry, is sponsors. Now, to use an example, I think it was the 2023 launch that Red Bull had. It was in New York, and it was heavily focused on the Ford partnership. And that was brand new. And I can remember it was dull as hell, but they spent a lot of time on Ford and that partnership being intact. In theory, any new bigger partner, or even a smaller partner, isn't going to get a lot of attention based on the limited time each team is going to have. Is that a problem? Maybe as a one-off, if this isn't a recurring event, it's not a problem. But if this becomes more of a thing every year, does that start to become an issue?
Yeah, I mean, you know, sponsors might want something else done for them if they're paying the big bucks. You know, they still get the same TV exposure during the season, I guess. But like say if it's something big like Ford, it's tricky with often those things. You know, with that event in New York for Ford and Red Bull, I suspect Ford went, oh, we'll pay to do it if you come to New York. So often I think it used to go that way anyway. So I don't know. Teams, I'm sure teams have probably voiced that concern, but F1 will probably supply them with some cash to make them happy anyway. So
F1 in a nutshell.
Yeah, just spend more money. So yeah, I don't think it'll be a massive issue. It'd be interesting to see if this becomes a thing they do each year, especially as we get into 2026 as well, because there'll be new partners coming on board there. I'm thinking like Honda and Aston Martin, for example, just as
Audi's first time in the sport.
Audi's first time, exactly. You can imagine Audi they want to do it on their own terms and not share it with everyone else. I think F1's lucky in this regard that 2025 there's not a lot changing. Apart, there's drivers changing, but there's not a lot changing in terms of teams and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure it's one that they are considering.
Oh, is that the first time we're going to see Hamilton in a Ferrari outfit?
Yeah, again, I know, to be fair, isn't he testing he's testing a car in Feb, I think, earlier on in the year, so he might have a Ferrari outfit there. But yes.
It might be the first public appearance properly in front of an audience.
That's the thing, that's a big deal.
That's a mega thing.
But do I want that shared with the other teams? I don't know. This is my skepticism, but I'll reserve my miserableness until February.
Should we do a watch along together? Should we come here and we'll do a watch along of it?
I'll be too miserable.
My F1 and it's live.
You're not going, Harry. That's not allowed.
I'm too miserable, mate. I can't go.
No, you can cry in the corner.
Oh, right,
we get Harry cam.
I won't be I won't be sad. I'll just be grumpy.
Much better. Any thoughts, Sam, on if you think this will be a one-off event or if there's a chance this carries on into the future?
It's Formula One. If anyone even tweets about it, it will carry on into the future because they think it will drive. That means more exposure for them, and that's how they contribute to success. No, I definitely think this could end up being a regular thing. Sprint races, as Harry's already mentioned, kind of was a skeptical idea that's come along, and it's never really gone away, and it's never really fully evolved into what I think.
What do you mean was a skeptical idea?
Still incredibly skeptical.
I'm not skeptical. I'm completely sold on its crap.
We're all convinced that we hate them. Good. But there is every chance that, yes, this ends up being we're going to take it on tour. First year, London. Second year, Vegas. Third year, the Middle East. I don't know. And I could definitely see them doing that as well because there will be countries that will be willing to pay F1 to bring it to that nation. And F1 like money. That's as simple as it gets. They love the dollar bills. So if there's money to be made in it, and the individual launches don't make them any cash, they'll do it.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. That was my conclusion. F1 likes money. And if it makes them money, they will probably keep doing it. And if it loses them money, they probably won't. Simple as that, really. Should we move on to some bold predictions?
Woo!
Yeah, we can. We can.
Crap there.
Gather around, little children, and listen to my song about my F1 bold predictions and how they'll all be wrong.
Sam, as the only person here that has a legitimate chance of beating Harry in bold predictions, you can go first.
I'm going to throw that away immediately by saying that a Sauber will finish in the top 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots going to have to happen for that.
It's Vegas, baby. Put it all on green, famously.
Okay.
Speaking of green and Sauber, green flame livery?
Flame shirt. I'm actually all for it.
You for it?
I can't. Why not? I'm kind of here for it.
You know what? As soon as I saw that livery, I thought, Harry, he's going to love this.
I hate it. I hate it. How can they make that livery worse? It's terrible.
I am loving it.
Well done, Sauber. Useless.
Sauber and their flame shirt livery in the top 12.
Can I get Gibby to wear the merch? My Carly.
Sure.
Yes.
Harry, what's your bold prediction?
Mine is that there will be another last lap pass for a podium position change.
That was a great move last year as well. That Leclerc dive was fantastic.
Yeah, I saw a clip of that earlier. I was like, that was a good old send. Yeah, I'm not saying same corner or anything, but on the last lap, there'll be a change for position for one of the podium positions.
And my bold prediction, as alluded to a little bit earlier on, they've been struggling as of late. But Mercedes, the Ice Road Truckers of F1, they'll be in the top 2.
Ooh.
One of them will be in the top 2.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
Scale it back.
Yeah.
Not a 1-2.
Poll 1, 2, 3. Sam, what have you got?
It's been made very evident to me by multiple people that I take this very unseriously and get them wrong far too often. So I'm just going to slam dunk her.
You need that pointing out.
I had no idea up until that point.
Oh, okay.
Poll 1, 2, 3. Poll, I'm going to say, is going to be Norris, win, Leclerc, second, Norris, third, Sainz.
Harry.
The win I'm giving to... sorry, the win...
Don't worry about poll, mate.
Sorry.
Qualifying's not happening.
Nah. Sorry.
Poll prediction, no qualifying.
Sorry. Pole position will go to Lando Norris. The win's going to go to Charles Leclerc. Norris will be second, and Verstappen's going to be third.
We're clearly very much in favour of a Charles Leclerc win, because I've got Charles Leclerc on pole and taking the win. I've got George Russell in second and Lando Norris in third.
Wow, big things if Georgie Russ gets P2.
Go on, George. Right, shall we take our second break? And then on the other side, we'll play some under pressure clips.
Imagine if one day we just say no to the second break.
Should we take another break? No.
I have to be honest with you, Sam. I'd probably go ahead and do it anyway.
I haven't got any control over the matter.
I asked the question, and I just don't care what your answer is.
It's a rhetorical question, isn't it? There is only one answer.
Good.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for Under Pressure submission. So on every preview episode that we do throughout the season, each of us will give someone or something that is under pressure going into that weekend's Grand Prix, and then we'll play some out from our Discord as we always do. Let's start with ours. Sam, who or what is under pressure?
Another special livery being brought to the fold. Alpine have gone hot pink. And if you're bringing a hot neon pink to the racetrack, you've got to deliver. You did so well in Brazil. I want to see you both now back on continued progress, double points finish. Ocon and Gasly being really trading blows on good performances. There's something in that car at the moment. You're fighting for sixth. Use the force of that wonderful hot pink car and deliver a point-stealing position.
You like that livery?
I actually really do. For Vegas, I think it's pretty cool.
Harry?
Sure.
It's like a happy child and their parent hates everything.
I'm out. I'm done with people chasing. I'm going to ban them.
Talking about it. They'll listen to you.
Just stop. You'll have one change a year.
I
Okay.
am reserving judgment on that livery just because it's Alpine, and by the time it hits the track, there might not be any pink on it.
They in that picture they had pink all the way up the nose, and I do not believe that for a second.
Yup.
Well, you think one side pole has got a square of pink
Maybe.
on it?
No, Ocon and Gasly will just be in pink race suits, and that's
That'll be it. The wing mirror might be pink.
Anyway, Alpine under pressure from Sam. Harry, who or what is under pressure?
I'm putting the Las Vegas GP under pressure because it delivered a belter last year. I know I was a bit skeptical around the hype around it, but no doubt that it delivered a great GP. Not that it's going to be under threat. Its position on the calendar will be under threat because it's got a contract for the next 36 years. But I think it is under pressure to deliver something as equally as exciting as it did in 2023 because I'm not saying F1 were lucky, but I think they were very fortunate the way it went last year. I think to continue the hype around it, they need another good GP.
My under pressure references something we discussed on last Wednesday's episode. My under pressure is Rui Marquez, who is stepping up to be the race director after Niels Wittich was fired or he left. Anyway, it's not an easy start for a race director to have the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Again, there was really no notice. He's had a week knowing that he would be doing this role at a Grand Prix where, if you remember last year, there were complications. Harry rightly says the Grand Prix was a very good event. It's a good thing it was, because leading up to that, there were a lot of problems that gave the race director a few headaches and the organisers generally. So he might have a 3-race trial to see if he gets this job full time. So maybe he's under a bit of pressure to show that he's up for the job. But who have we got from our Discord submissions?
All righty. We have, as ever, a lot of people submitting. Thank you, everyone. First up is Beef.
Hello, I'm a tired lady, as usual. Life updates. I'm tired. My work is killing me off. And it was Beef's housemate's birthday. Woo! It's my birthday in a couple of weeks. I'm going to put up the Christmas tree tonight. She's not happy about it. Under pressure is Ferrari, because really, I actually think it's theirs to lose at this point. So it'll be very Ferrari for them to do it. Okay, bye.
Can't lose what you never had.
I'd argue it's McLaren's to lose.
Yeah, they are the ones currently first.
The Christmas tree?
That's what you took away from that.
Yes.
It's a valid discussion. When does the Christmas tree go up?
Yeah, all right, let's do this now.
Not on when that was submitted the 18th of November. That's outrageous behaviour.
I am a between the 1st and 7th of December kind of guy whenever I get the time to do it in that week.
You've got to get into at least December. This November malarkey is absolutely pathetic.
First weekend of December.
Fine by me. Anything within December, I'll more than accept.
Good. Well,
Harry,
that
24th.
Harry's so miserable. The Grinch.
I put mine up on Boxing Day.
And put it down in November.
Anti-Christmas.
Who's next?
Anyway, next is Stick Figure.
Hello, LB World. It is the longtime listener confirmed here with the Under Pressure for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. For the U.S. perspective, it's got to be the Las Vegas Grand Prix itself. Under Pressure was there last year in person, and it was a mess. Hoping everything runs smoother this year. Hopefully it's more exciting this year. Fingers crossed.
A bit more chat on that in a bit.
How is it being a stick figure? I'd like to know. Right back.
Next up is Spicy Pastry.
G'day, Pod. Spicy Pastry. I managed to get out of Australia, and I'm actually at the Cristo Redentor right now in Brazil. Anyway,
you missed the race.
Dialing in remotely to say it's got to be the pinto bean that is under pressure. He needs to find somewhere to go. Otherwise, I think he's going to look a bit average if he just keeps having some average performances. But I think he can go somewhere. I just don't know where. Anyway, yeah.
Is that me? That was such a me answer.
Australian Harry.
I think he can go somewhere, but I don't know where.
There's only one seat available.
Thank you for that, Spicy Pastry. Next up is Lance.
Hey, look, Breakers, this is Lance, better than Stroll, with my Under Pressure submission. Under Pressure for this week, I will have to say is Total Wolf. His comments for Lewis seemed like they were sort of bitter that came out. You're saying that like you were trying to save face, and it honestly wasn't necessary. Also, Checo, because Checo, at this point, he should just become a staple. It should be the Checo Under Pressure, should be the name of it. Keep breaking late, subscribe to the Patreon.
Oh, love that plug.
Good suggestion.
Speaking of Lewis Hamilton, this came out just before we started recording, I think, but he's going to have loads of different names on the car for his last race for Mercedes in Abu Dhabi, which I think is a perfect question of the week for next week.
What names should go on Lewis Hamilton's car?
Nico Rosberg, multiple times.
Britney Spears.
Sure. Next up is One Shade of Ginger.
What's up, late breakers? One Shade of Ginger here. Papaya orange in my heart, but Ferrari red on the outside.
Oh, it's a good line.
With my Under Pressure submission for Vegas, baby. It's still McLaren. They could still blow it. So what they need to do is they need to go out and score more points than Red Bull and Ferrari. That's all I'm asking. Just score more points than Red Bull and Ferrari. Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
Put it in the book, folks. Score more points than your rivals.
Win championship. That's how it goes.
Circled on Zach Brown's calendar.
Yeah. Next up is Lucky the Leprechaun.
Hi, everyone. It's Lucky the Leprechaun here. Long-time listener, first-time submitter. My under pressure this week is McLaren. They really need to pick it up if they want to win this Constructors. Let's be honest, it's been since 98, and we need this win.
It's been a while.
Yep. Again, neither McLaren driver was alive the last time they won the Constructors' Championship.
How are you called Lucky?
He's a leprechaun.
Right back.
Oh, good. Next up is the Bungalorean.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the McLaren CEO. Yeah. And the most under pressure for the Las Vegas Grand Prix is Red Bull. Because honestly, I just want to know who your second driver is. Is it Sergio Willy Wonka Perez and his chocolate money? Or is it Liam or Carlos or Franco or Yuki or Sam Sage or Jos Verstappen or my grandfather who can't see at night?
Yeah. Most people can't see at night.
You're so dark in it.
Open your eyes, Grandad.
Oh, buggers.
Mad respect for the Willy Wonka line. That's good quality, that.
Oh, buggers always delivers.
Willy Wonka Perez.
Chocolate money.
I can't see.
Oh, like Grandad. Your character unlocked.
Not Bottas, but Bot-ass is next.
Nice.
Hey guys, love the podcast. My under pressure submission is the new FIA race director this week. Apparently he's from F2 and F3, so hopefully he's doing a better job than they have in the past. But hope he makes some good calls.
We agree.
Good call, Mr. Ass.
First game bot. Second game ass.
Virgil is next.
Hey y'all, it's Virgil, your favorite Floridian. Now, there's a lot of options when it comes to under pressure for Vegas, but I'm going to pick the FIA here because they pull one more stupid stunt. I think we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned driver sleepover. They barricaded themselves in the hotel. I mean, like, it's getting serious here. They are sick of it, and for good reason. Like, Christ, but it's Vegas, so, time for spectacle. I think they're going to pull their stupidest move yet, and, hopes and dreams will come true. Yeah. Love y'all. Love the podcast. Bye.
New question of the week. What would the drivers get up to at a sleepover?
I don't think that.
There is no way we escape with only good answers on that.
Up Mars 9 kids.
There's immediate shake of the head from producer Kirsty then. Finally, we have Hanny Boy.
What's up? What's up, late breakers? It is your boy, Hanny Boy, for his first submission ever. Thank you for the podcast.
And that's it from Hanny Boy.
Oh, I love that you just cut yourself off.
We'll never know what it was.
Question of the week. What was the end of
Yes.
that clip?
What was Hanny Boy's under pressure?
Hanny Boy, thank you so much. But next time, keep holding record. What's it called?
Calm down. Deep breath.
It's a valid point. Well made, Hanny Boy.
Yeah.
Right. That was the last one, yes?
That was the last one.
Somewhat the last one. Thank you very much, as always, to all of you that put your submissions in. As already mentioned, there were so many again this week. So if yours isn't played, keep trying. We'll try and get through as many people as we can, as we've got a few races still to go in the season. Your under pressure, Harry, was the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
I thought I was under pressure for a second.
You're always under pressure, mate. And we also heard another shout for the Las Vegas Grand Prix as being under pressure during that segment. So, Harry, what do you think they need to learn from last year? The second attempt here at Las Vegas, what lessons can be learned from last year?
Nail down your drain covers. That's a starting point. There were obviously a couple of things that went wrong last year. It was referenced by, and I've already forgotten the name, so I deeply apologise, but the person who submitted, who was there, Stick figure. Yes, how could I forget? Because Sam then asked, why are you a stick figure? Or what's it like being a stick figure?
Right back.
Yeah. But yeah, for those that were, especially on the Friday, those that were there were treated terribly because they saw no action and then were told to go home, and then F1 hosted the practice anyway with just no one in the stands watching. which I know they were slightly backed into a corner, but F1 would be better if you didn't hold it so late in the night. You would avoid this problem. So yeah, that was not ideal, and it was very specific circumstances. And like you said, Ben, I think actually in the end F1 were very fortunate with the fact that the race delivered a good race, because had it delivered a stinker after that, I think we'd have heard more from fans that were there over the weekend, or more complaints. I still don't like the fact that they've now not put plastic up, they've now put like metal sheets up to stop people watching from random spots that you could, because it's obviously a city. Hate that from F1. But they've gone ahead with it again. So yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say from a fan perspective. We weren't there last year, but from what we've heard, hopefully things improve. But it's banking on the fact that nothing goes wrong. But sometimes what if it's? I know it's hard because it's probably not going to happen. But what if there was a rain delay and things like that?
When I was in Vegas, it rained.
Well, there you go. So if we have things like that, similar things could happen. I don't think it's predicted for the weekend, but yeah, F1's playing with fire a little bit, I think.
What do you think, Sam?
Fully echo everything Harry said there. I'm really disappointed at kind of taking the mickey when it comes to how they're treating Las Vegas as a city. I know it's a city, it's got its reputation. It's very different, very unique in its approach to, what it serves as an entertainment center. It's also people's homes, and people live and work there, and it's a choice to be there. And you take over that whole city. You shut down so many of the key roads, so many of the key networks. You take over everything. So sticking up metal sheets where someone might want to peer over a barrier to have a look at something that's going in their home, it kind of takes the mickey a little bit. I think it's not nice. It's really not nice. Equally, your drain covers down. The other thing that really troubled me last year was, Ben, maybe you know this more than I do, but I think it might be state law about the shift times that people are allowed to work. That ended up, because of the delay that we had, meaning that workers had to be sent home because they were going to cross over a boundary. Overtime wasn't available. They hadn't had other people lined up to come in and work there. That was one of the safety concerns that they had for the race day, that security and vendors weren't going to be able to provide for those people who were staying late. And that's one of the reasons why they had to send everyone home, because they couldn't keep everything open. It simply wouldn't be viable for fans to turn up. That needs to change. They need to come up with backup staff. They need to have extra people ready to go. It's going to cost you money, but you're making enough money off of it anyway. And then the refund system. I know that they got offered credit or something like that meant they could go and buy some merch in replacement of their Friday ticket that fell through. That's not good enough. You get if a service isn't delivered, you get a refund. And unfortunately, Formula One, your service wasn't delivered. Whether that was through your own fault or not, I happen to think it probably was more your responsibility. Then you have to honour that, part of that agreement of buying a ticket. So some store credit to buy a cap or something for an event you didn't even get to see. It's a real kick in the shins. They need to just run the event properly. I know it sounds silly. Basic advice. Look at how the other F1 events get run. Run it like that. Don't love a lot of how they did it last year. Hopefully they make those changes.
Yeah, the end result last year was a class action lawsuit. So if you come away from this year's event without a class action lawsuit, well done. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's some class action.
Damn right. The track issues last year were unacceptable. If they happen again this year, that's even more unacceptable, because you've had that 1 year of actual track running. We know that the Vegas contract is going to be around for a while. So you would think that, yes, there was a lot of hype around the first race in Vegas, understandably so. You would hope that this year was like the start of really getting it embedded properly within the calendar. They still aren't very popular with the locals. At some point, I think they're going to have to become a bit more popular with the locals, because it's not going to get any better without any change. I will say, I will give F1 a compliment. They seem to have done something wise, which is, again, because this is a night race and we are going so late in the day, that if there are delays because of, example, track issues, manhole covers, it doesn't leave any flexibility within what they can do with these practice session times. They have moved some sessions this year. So as an example, last year's FP2 session happened at 2:00 local time. This year it's set to happen at 10:00 local time. So they've brought it back 4 hours. good work. That makes a lot of sense. Similarly with qualifying, if you were thinking, I'm sure I had a slightly longer lie-in on Saturday morning last year, that's because you did. It was an 8 o'clock start last year, and it's 6 o'clock this year, which we're not allowed to complain about because it makes sense to bring it back a little bit to give more of a buffer. So overall, I think they've made some clever changes to the schedule. There is pressure on the race, as mentioned, but that's at least a good starting point. Okay, let's take our final break on this episode. On the other side, we're playing F1 Alphabetti. Welcome back, everyone. If you can't remember the jingle for this, that's completely understandable. We haven't played it in a while, but it's F1 Alphabetti.
Yo, big boys playing F1 Alphabetti. This game's so hard, my forehead's getting sweaty.
You know what? I know we don't play the game a lot, but that theme slaps.
That does slap. I forgot that's how it went.
Respect to Live Laugh Latifi, as always. F1 Alphabetti, probably one of the simpler games to explain. There are a number of letters in front of me. Sam and Harry will take it in turns to pick a letter. They don't know what it means, though, what the category is. It'll be starting with that letter. I'll then tell them what the category is and ask them a question within that category. So today, I've got no idea why I've done this, by the way, but we're going from K to R.
That's, for God's sake.
Well, I can't just, I know we don't play it very often, but I can't just always do A to F or G or H. Like, it's just boring.
All right, then.
Okay. I've got to work out what letters are in that gap now.
I guarantee the first two will be K and R for me and Sam.
Yeah, I was going to go
the
for that one.
alphabet. It's not that difficult.
Hold on. English alphabets.
Sam's just Googling the alphabet, folks.
I swear, if any of you say something like J, I'm going to lose my rag.
Lose my rag is an underrated expression, by the way.
Harry, since you don't need to research the alphabet, you can go first. What letter would you like?
I'll go for K, please, Ben.
Great option.
I'll take that back. K. K stands for Kobayashi.
Ooh.
Who was his first teammate in F1?
Jarno Trulli.
It came up not that long ago. How he subbed in for Timo Glock to be the teammate of Jarno Trulli. Well done. You're on the board. Sam, over to you.
I'll have R, please, Ben.
You even looked it up, but you've still gone for R. R stands for return.
Of the Mac.
Nope, just return. Who returned to F1 for Williams at the 2017 Hungarian Grand Prix?
Hey.
Sounded like a puffin then.
I don't know what they sound like, that, apparently. That's like a Pingu impression. Robert Kubica.
It was not Robert Kubica. Harry, can you remember who it was?
I think it was Paul di Resta.
Was Paul di Resta, yes.
Paulie D.
He stood in for an unwell Felipe Massa that weekend. Which means we go back to Harry. What letter would you like? The two obvious ones are out of the way.
L.
Just to be clear, guessing the letters is not part of the game, but it is. L stands for Latvia.
Oh, sure. No.
And you've managed to pick the 50-50, the true or false question.
Okay.
Latvia has hosted an F1 race. True or false?
False.
Yeah, sorry, Latvia. You've never hosted an F1 race, so that's correct, yeah.
Like, I didn't get that one.
Gosh. Would you have gone for true?
Yep. I hate 50-50s.
What letter would you like next, Sam?
Let me just consult my chart. I'll go for Q, please.
Oh, okay. Q stands for quote.
Oh, that could be literally anything.
Me and Sam are going to meet in the middle on these, by the way.
Oh, I know. I really do know that already. The quote, I am an artist. The track is my canvas and the car is my brush, is a quote by who?
I even know that quote as well. That's going to irritate me.
It's very poetic.
It is very poetic. Oh, I'm going to get it wrong. It's going to really annoy me that I'm going to get it wrong. Is it Senna?
It's not Senna.
God damn it.
Understandable guess. Any idea, Harry?
No idea.
Graham Hill.
Yeah, I did know that.
Of course. Phil's
Back
brother.
to you, Harry. What letter would you like?
M, please.
Oh, what a shock, yeah. M stands for Minardi.
Oh, yes.
2 British drivers have raced for Minardi. Name either one of them.
You got the most British sounding man of all time.
Justin Wilson.
Correct. Well done. Do you know the other one?
Waston Gilson.
That's the end of the episode name sorted?
Yes. Done.
I'll give you a clue. You've spoken to him.
I've spoken to him.
Yep.
How many times?
Once. I think.
Anthony Davison.
Anthony Davison.
Friend of the podcast.
Very podcast.
Yeah.
Interviewed him.
Oh, yeah.
In fairness, he was a substitute, so not an obvious one. But yes, Wilson was the other correct answer. Sam, back to you.
You know when you look at an alphabet chart and they do a capital letter and a lowercase letter?
Sure.
Mine says pee. I love that me and Harry collectively gang up on Ben just to annoy him.
P stands for penalty.
Okay. Pee.
I can't give you a penalty of any points because you don't have any. But
that's fine. I was going to get a win.
Who on the current grid has the most penalty points at the moment?
When did you put this quiz together?
A couple of weeks ago, but I did verify and it's still the same answer.
Okay, sure.
Pre-Solon's ban, I assume.
No, it's not Magnussen.
It's not Magnussen. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's literally why I asked.
Yeah.
Most penalty points right now. Oh, someone who's caught Sergio Perez.
It's not Sergio Perez, I'm afraid. You just hate Sergio Perez, don't you?
Nah, you've caught me out.
Yep. Harry, any idea?
I don't know. Verstappen?
It's not Verstappen. You're not getting very lucky with this, actually, Sam, because Harry doesn't know any of your answers either. But the answer is Fernando Alonso. You remember the beginning of this season, he picked up 8 points in like 3 races. So
have you seen, about drivers for their teams, have you seen the stat that Gasly has cost $0 to Alpine this season?
Is that true?
Yeah, I was wondering if that's true. I mean, it could be, but
if it is, that is unreal.
Yeah, but can I this seems like an obvious thing. And apologies if I have this wrong way around. Didn't Gasly launch his own teammate into the air in Monaco and crack the chassis?
Other way round. Ocon did it to Gasly.
I think Ocon was at the apex first, so I think you're right.
He still not broke the car.
Oh, apologies.
Because that's the argument we always use, right?
Yes, that's racing.
All right. Yep, so Fernando Alonso, he's got 8 penalty points of the 12 that you can have before you have a race ban. 2 questions left. What one would you like?
N, please, Ben.
Sure. N stands for number.
Oh, this is so vague.
Good.
Which of these 4 numbers hasn't been used in F1?
Oh, you're having a laugh. So I don't want to get right.
12, 43, 57, and 98.
98.
No, it's not 98.
Damn.
What would you have gone for, Sam?
53.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that wasn't an option.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry, 53. Yeah. Yes, I combined 43 and 57. I meant 57.
Yeah. 12 has been raced by Felipe Nasr. 43 is currently being raced by Franco Colapinto. 98, I'm disappointed you don't remember this one, Harry. Roberto Merri.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, Roberto.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Which means, Harry, you can't get 4 out of 4, I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
Sam. Pick number O, my lord.
Oh.
O stands for, of course, Otmar.
Oh, 9.
In what year did Otmar join Force India?
2015.
I'm going to take your first answer when you said 9.
2009.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, Harry won that one. Should we move on to what I would probably describe No, you know what? I definitely describe it as the greatest segment in all of Formula One podcasting. It is time for the
LB question of the week.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Question of the week. We asked, because we are in Las Vegas, of course, going into this weekend, what should go on the world famous Las Vegas sphere during the Grand Prix?
Oh, there were some good answers. I've got to get in with this one from Jordan on Instagram. It's just the visual picture that he painted, which I thought was fantastic. The giant face of Ben Sulayem surveilling his domain like the eye of Sauron to ensure not a single swear word is uttered. That really made me laugh when I was reading those earlier. Good choice.
I don't like that answer just because I think he might actually do
it. Beef has submitted one saying Carlos's radio where he says, "Hello." Just on a loop, I imagine.
Sorry, I wasn't ready with it.
Sorry. Beef submitted one, which is, she said, Carlos's radio on a loop saying,
I haven't labelled it. I think it's this.
Hello.
Perfect.
Not that old, came up with a sad Daniel Ricciardo waving at the people who still have a drive.
Oof.
Or just...
every week now, I wonder how Otmar and his 9 children are going to make it in. V on Instagram has answered that for this week by saying Otmar's family Christmas card.
Like 9 elves and Father Christmas sat behind
them. Max has said the LB boys doing YMCA dance on a loop with music playing on the speaker.
No one needs to see that.
Famously, we've never done the YMCA dance, so now's the time to start, clearly. Aaron said the Fernando Alonso forehead photo. Yeah, that would be great. Really zoomed in on his forehead too.
I always write down some answers that I want to say out, and this week I just realised I've got so many. Like there were genuinely so many great answers. Just to call out a few, Max saying Shrek 2. I'm not against Shrek 2. Just
the whole film.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't because Martin Brundle will be furious.
Hates it.
Hang on, I got that one as well.
No, I haven't been this disappointed as in Shrek 2.
Brundle's done a lot for this sport, but I still don't think he's done a better line than that.
Be good.
Be good. Barry said Sam's nipples, which no one wants to see on a large sphere.
Get them out. Woo! If George wins, they'll be out. Barry also said some clever images that will suit the sphere and be both related to Las Vegas and Formula One.
Yep. It's similar to that. The answer that actually makes sense, which made me laugh, was from Nikita, which is the race, so that people in attendance can enjoy the race when cars are not visible in their sectors. Yeah, sure.
That's logical.
3060, because obviously the countdown to our death continues.
Can you just tell us?
Obviously, my uncle's got involved. Uncle Timmy here. Reruns of Scrap Heap Challenge. I know what I'm watching instead of the race.
Yep.
Sorry, but I'll say Webb Smith on Instagram has asked for the whole of our Austin live show.
Why not?
You need to pay for tickets for that. You're not seeing it.
You can listen to it.
Megan on, I think this was on Instagram, said a microwave spinning one way as the temperature cools through the night and the other way during the day. Dan said Harry's F1 fantasy trend. It's not, the sphere's not that big. It's can't account for that.
Does it not mean team rather than trend?
Yeah, to be fair, that makes more sense because your trend is you started awful and have kept being awful, so hasn't really gone down, has it?
Another set of kneecaps gone there. Oof.
Oh, Damon Hill will join you.
That was Damon.
Oops, All Legends on Twitter has said a checklist of Harry's podcasting equipment so he can't forget it.
I'd still forget something.
And the checklist.
Luxvan said a live stream of the DOJ antitrust investigation unit working on Andretti's case. And the last one from me, I'll go for Clara's one, which is a live stream of Toto's pumpernickel loaves baking in the oven.
You
Lord.
Folks will have to watch YouTube for this one. But someone has just simply said, this. I'm going to show the guys first before I show YouTube, so I'm sure they'll know what I'm talking about, but it just says this. And to the camera for YouTube.
Oh.
It's Harry Hill's face.
Good old Harry Hill.
Made a late run for Hall of Fame, hasn't he, Harry Hill?
Oh, sorry, what am I going to find out?
Any last ones?
No, there's too many. I could keep going.
Good stuff. In which case, we should probably get out of here. We'll be back, of course, at the weekend, Sam.
We will. There'll be a qualifying review, a full race review, and power rankings on Patreon, which you can find in the link below. Join the Discord as well, because that's where all the chatting will go around, and you can put in your submission, of course, from the moment of the race after Sunday. Join me on Twitch, Late Breaking Podcast, where I'll be watching through qualifying and the race. It's always lovely to chat along with you lot live before we get into these reviews over the weekend. It's great to hear your points as it all happens. We have some really lovely chats over there. Follow us on social media, Late Breaking F1, and watch us on YouTube, Late Breaking F1 as well. We love you. We'll leave you, and we're going to see you at the weekend. In the meantime, I've been Samuel Sage.
I've been Ben Hocking.
I've been Brian Burke.
And remember, keep breaking.
Rusting Gilson.